You are live and nationwide. Glorious. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to a very echoey, empty room. Vincent Scaramuzzo, how are you, man? What's going on? What's up, Tim Start and Brandon Hullinger and John Jobin and Bill Marchant, Paul Yates and Leslie Larson and Eric Petard and Jeffrey Geis and Randy New. Rich Donovan off the YouTube. What's up, Rich? I know that name. Jamie Marie D off the Facebook and Greg Holmes and Richard Cooper. My goodness. Is it pretty echoey? We're back in New York City. My daughter decided she really needed to get back to school. We're like, so we packed up the Dawgie and a few things, and we're spending the next few days in New York City before heading back to the beach. So what's up, Gina Bobina, once again off the YouTube? Gina, where are you from? Good morning, Howard, Vinny Castiglione says. You're looking at, never mind. Let it go. Let it go. Let's just put it this way. Howard Stern's building is in this picture right now. Montreal for Gina Bobina. Oh, love the Montreal. I used to get there like once every couple of years. Montreal is awesome. Wayne Boo Atkins, what's going on, brother? Cheers. Cheers to everybody. Cheers. Cheers. Oh, Stephen C. speaking a little French to Gina Bobina from Montreal. Why is that the go-to thing when you think French, Canadian? Brother man. Oh, it's very echoey in here. I could do a shift on CBS FM. Playing all your hits for the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Here's the Spinners. Oh, there he is. Hi, Dawgie. You want to say hi? Woof, woof. My doggy just said hi to you guys. He's licking my crack. Jeez. My crack is always exposed, and the dog goes right for it. Creepy. Oh, funny, Matt. How much did you pay the door guy to sneak in and set up? You're a card. You're hilarious. Fact is, we let our apartment just sit here for a year. We made our first dinner last night in this apartment, the first one in a year. It was really strange because, as everyone knows, because they've been doing all sorts of features on the news, but it was a year ago that everything pretty much shut down. And it was a year ago that we were all running to the schools here in New York City to grab our kids and just escape. We were lucky enough to do that. And I remember being in this apartment. It was around March 11th, I believe. And the news reports were getting scarier and scarier. I did a podcast with Dr. Steve, the first one I did on the coronavirus, and he was giving all the info. Now, this episode's over a year old now, or around a year old. And man, he got a lot of this stuff right. I listened back to that episode for the hell of it. I was like, damn, Dr. Steve, you knew your coronavirus. But it was a year ago. We were in this apartment just like throwing shit in bags and stuff going, we just got to get the fuck out of here. So it's really weird that exactly a year later, this was the point we were, fleeing, and now we're here. Did you all split the banana? Michael Garland. Look at you. Yeah, there's a petrified banana in this apartment. I took a picture of it. It's on my Instagram, Opie Radio. It is rock hard. It's not smushy at all. It doesn't smell at all. So I think we're just going to keep it now as a reminder of the last year. You're going to go rollerblading down Central Park, Ricky Elliott asks. I used to be a huge inline skater. I mean, I still got a pair of blades, man. But I switched to a decent bike about, 10, 12 years ago at this point. So I might take a loop in the park. Taking loops in the park on a bike is just absolutely awesome. Let's hear about Opie's rollerblading stories. Vinny Castiglione. The story's been blown out of proportion, but it is based on some reality. So when me and Anthony were becoming huge radio stars, my God, signing big contracts and being syndicated all over the country and bringing in stupid money for a lot of people. A lot of people made a lot of money off me and Anthony and our success back in the day, especially. I was signing a contract, and they were half joking, but they were also basically telling me to knock it off. They wanted me to sign a clause in the contract that I wouldn't inline skate / rollerblade in the streets of New York City anymore, because I used to tell the stories where that was how I got around New York City. Like if I had to go downtown, I would just throw on some rollerblades. I'd be down there in minutes. And from time to time, and this is a true story, I would hold on to the back of trucks with my rollerblades. Oh my God, I'm an old guy now. I can't even imagine. I probably could do it, but I bet you my back would end up on the street. That made the bosses very, very nervous, knowing how much money we were bringing into the company and how much money they were all making off our backs. And they sat me down and they hinted at putting a clause in the contract that I wouldn't do that anymore, but then basically said, could you maybe not do that anymore? You have a lot to lose now. So that is a true story. You was never close to Howard. You are delusional. Hey, everybody, look what we got this morning. I never said I was close to Howard. Robert Henry, you obsessed weirdo. Did I ever say I was close to Howard Stern? You know that I've never had a conversation with Howard Stern, except for an exchange of good mornings in the morning. Well, a one-sided good morning. I've explained that too. And then I know he's pissed off at some of the things from the past. And I tried to sit down with the idiot to maybe calm his dumb head. And he wasn't willing to do that. But I never said I was close to Howard. I live close to Howard. I literally could see his building. And what's creepy, I used to, because I would be up doing this very early, I would see his lights go on in the actual apartment that you could see from here. I'm talking about revenue, you idiot. Oh, shut up, Robert Henry. Me and Anthony made stupid money, millions upon millions when we were on regular radio. And I still hold to the fact that me and Anthony probably brought in over $1 billion for SiriusXM during our run. That's a lot of money. Did Howard bring in a lot more than that? Yes, of course. You idiot. I don't know why it bothers you so much that we were looked at as the second most popular show at SiriusXM, which meant we were bringing in a lot of money. Dude, if you and Anthony, oh boy, guys, here we go. Stephen Walter, no offense to Stephen. Dude, if you and Anthony could ever get past the past, you guys would take over the podcast world. No rules, no bosses. One can hope. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Is that a possibility? Robert Henry, look at this. That's why I said, let's give Robert a break. He says, I love you, Ope. I've been listening since you fought with Artie. All right, fair enough. I wasn't trying to over-exaggerate my shit. You know, I did enough with my career that I don't need to exaggerate anything. Nothing. And what he's talking about is the fight in the hallway, which I knew if I went any further, I would have been fired. I know of Artie Lange. I can't say we're friends, but ran in the same circles forever, know all the same people. And when he was on Howard Stern's show, I would run into him in the hallway a lot. He was always very, very nice, incredibly nice. And then you fast forward, he started doing my solo radio show at SiriusXM. And then after that, people get confused. Then he moved on to do a show with Anthony. What drove me nuts were how two-faced everybody was. Like, the one thing I pride myself in, I wasn't two-faced. If I didn't like you, I would say it on the air, and I would say it off the air right to your face. Maybe not the smartest thing, but that is the truth. Now, with Artie, and Robin was the same way, by the way. Artie would be so nice in the hallways and stuff. And, hey, how are you? How's the family? All that basic stuff and blah, blah, blah. And then on Howard's show, when Howard would go down the road of trying to beat me and Anthony up, he never accomplished that, by the way. We're one of the few shows that he couldn't crack the code, and I'm proud of that. But Artie would jump right in and completely trash us. So one day it got back to us that Howard's trashing you guys on the radio, and Artie's saying this and that, and he was jumping right in with Howard. And then we go to the commercial break, and I see Artie in the hallway, and he's like, "Hey, how are you? How's the family?" or whatever he was saying that day. And I was like, "Hey, Artie, fuck you." I go, "What are you talking?" He's like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "I hate this two-faced shit. To my face, you couldn't be nicer, and then you go on the radio and you trash me and Anthony. So fuck that. You don't need to say hi to me in the hallway." And then he got on his high horse. "Oh, yeah. And he's getting in my face. I'm getting in his face. And then someone ran and told stupid Baba Booey. And Baba Booey runs out of Howard's area with the whole film crew when they were still filming before Howard pretty much fired all those guys and gave them no notice and really fucked them over. That's a story for another day. And so I see the door for Howard's area open it up, and a whole film crew is running out with stupid Baba Booey. And there's me and Artie face to face in the hallway, and it's looking like we might fight. And man, for the first time, and it was very, very rare, I looked at the situation at hand, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to be on this the TV show, whatever channel it was on at that time, fighting Artie in the hallway. It would make for great TV. I probably would fucking lose that fight, I'm here to say, but I don't give a fuck. I'd rather walk away, with a broken jaw than back down. And then I looked at everything. I was like, this isn't good, man. This isn't good. And I turned and walked away before the film crew could really get something going. So I think that's what he's referring to. After that, Artie left the Howard Stern show, and then he started appearing on my solo show that I was kind of doing with, probably first with Jim Norton, and then with Carl and Vic and Sherrod. And he couldn't have been nicer. He was really, really cool. I got either DMs or text messages from him where he really wanted to start doing the show on a regular basis and try to work something out. We never did. And then you fast forward a little bit, he ended up working with Anthony for a while. So you think Howard ate Artie's boogers? Rachel. I like that. Scott Davies. Do you think Howard and Artie effed at one point? I mean, Artie with his issues, he might have. And Howard, because of his issues, he might have. Just saying. Oh, they're just jokes, people. Oh, 2 brand new shirt designs at opieradio.com. We got the shirt that just says canceled, because we're going to get to a point where I think the thing to do is to be canceled for something, because I think that's where all the cool people are going to end up being. I have no doubt. And then we have another shirt called Cancel Culture. Yes. You can check them out on opieradio.com. I like how they came out. All right. I like the echo in this room, by the way. Can you tell there's no furniture in this room? CBS FM. Here's Tony, Orlando, and Dawn. Knock 3 times on the ceiling if you love me, baby. Here's Donna Summer. How's it being in the city again? Thomas Kelly says it's all right. I mean, it's a nice change of pace because we went a year barely seeing anybody. So it's really strange for all of us. We're keeping our distance, trying to do the right thing. I'm going to the dog park every single day, like twice a day. My dog, Dawgie. Dawgie, do you like the dog park? Of course he does. Look at this. I don't know why he follows just me. My kids are up. Freaking creepy, man, to take a dog to the dog park, and then we're all like, looking at our dogs just sniffing butts and licking balls and trying to hump. And then you're trying to have like some small talk with another dog owner as your dog is just trying to lap the balls of their dog. My joke went over like a bad fart. So they're like dog piling and licking everything. So I just decided to yell. And you got to remember, you got to understand where you are. The Upper West Side is a bit snooty. And I would bet a bunch of these people are into the cancel culture. So as they're dog piling, licking everything, I just yelled out, "Me too! Me too!" And then I started laughing at myself like an idiot. I got death stares from everybody. I'm like, what? Opie, I was listening to an old show with Dice on O&A. I love the guy, but he must be just exhausting. John Radford. He's very, very exhausting. He's a guy that was so entertaining to be around off air, but he was completely exhausting. He'll ask you about yourself. You have maybe 10 seconds to give him an update. And then it goes back to just focusing on him for the next 6 hours. That's Dice in a nutshell. You want to talk about a guy that does not have his ego in check. But with that said, entertaining is all hell, man. I miss, especially I guess we have to go back to the WNEW days. And Dice was coming in a lot. And the best was we couldn't wait for the show to be over, even though the show's killed with Dice on him. He never had a bad appearance. Oh my God. He's one of those guys that never had a bad appearance on our show. There is only a few people that I could say that about. Another, of course, being like Jim Brewer. We couldn't wait for the show to end because then we would just wander around New York City just fucking with people in a good way and laughing our asses off. And this was really before the YouTube and everything else truly took off, unfortunately, because those days were just legendary. Legendary. Every 5 seconds it was something. Just having fun and laughing and making fun of people and then going to eat. And going to eat was an adventure. And he insisted, the famous sweatshirt story. He insisted one day that me and Anthony get sweatshirts because he was really into big, huge, over-the-top sweatshirts. And we went into this store and the sweatshirts were really, really nice. And I was excited to get one. I'm like, damn, I actually would wear this, But he would only buy them if me and Anthony got like triple XLs. We were swimming in these sweatshirts. And we're like, but can't I just get at the time I was a medium. And then we go to the counter and then he's haggling. And at this point in his life, he was very rich and well off. And then he went through a slow stage. And now I would assume he's rich again because he's a big movie star. And I knew how much money he was making, and he was haggling the guy, and he would not leave the store until the guy gave him a really good break on the sweatshirts. And it was just amazing to watch him work. Brewer's live stand-up beats Dice. Seen them both twice. Brewer's so much funnier, hands down. 100% Jamie D. But the beauty of Dice, Brewer is one of the funniest fucking comics ever. And he's a great storyteller, and he crushes every time on that stage. The difference, though, is he's more prepared. All the great comics can go off script and just fuck around, and certainly Brewer can do that. Dice has no problem because, like I said earlier, if you really need me to break it down, his ego's not in check. So Dice, a lot of times, especially at the Comedy Store out there in LA, would just walk in with no agenda and no real material and just go on the stage and fuck around and make it up as he goes along. And that's pretty impressive too. But when you do that, you're going to have a lot of dead spots. But they both gave amazing radio back in the day. Absolutely amazing radio. Hope is it true you and Ed never got a penny from the Demented World CD? I forgot what we, oh my God, I forgot the number now. I think we split. Yeah. We split 75 cents a disc. So we were making like 37 and a half a disc. And that thing, well, oh my God. Can we talk about that tomorrow? I haven't told the Demented World CD story in a while, but we never did a follow-up CD because the stupid lawyers at CBS radio shut down a double disc that was all ready to go because they were scared about all the material in there. And I'm like, you idiots, this thing will make millions of dollars for everybody. You know, we put out a CD when we were up in Boston, and the damn CD was charting around the country. And we were only in one city that no one knew us yet. And we sold like well over 100,000 copies. And then when we got to New York and became massive, I took it on to get another CD out there, and it was done. It was a double CD. We were going to call it Cringe. It had artwork and everything. And at the last moment, these goddamn lawyers, no, I'm not going back to radio because now I'm triggered. These fucking lawyers always getting in the way. That CD would have sold massively, and then that would have probably led to us pretty much putting out CDs every year. But at that point, we gave up. We knew we were fucked with these lawyers just breathing down our necks all the time. I'll tell more of the Demented World CD story tomorrow. It drives me insane with the guy counting the poster money. The food court and his muscle and Bozo the Clown and the Radiator. Oh, please let me tell the whole story tomorrow. You just got to remind me, okay? Wait, Daniel Ambrose, morning, Ope, checking in from Los Angeles. Love the podcast. Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate that. Wow, that makes me happy. Haven't been to good old Los Angeles since I went there for my my agent's wake / funeral. Super Agent Bob Eatman. That was the last time I was in LA, unfortunately. And I love LA. Matt Farrer from the Smoking Tire, one of my friends, lives in the Venice Beach area. Although he's building a new house somewhere else, I believe. But he wants me to get down there to Venice Beach, hang out, do a little podcasting, drive fast in some cars. But this kid is still scared to get on a plane. Although after the vaccination, I don't know, maybe I'm good to go. Proud Scott, morning, Ope. Much love from Scotland. Keep up the good work, mate. That's fucking cool. Sorry, Los Angeles, but Scotland is a little cooler than Los Angeles as far as just turning this on from my New York City apartment. And next thing you know, somebody from Scotland says hi. That's pretty fucking cool. Did you bury Bob with the French horn? Wayne Wright. There's a linger longer. He was a good man. Let me tell you how good of a man Bob Eatman was. Super agent. So SiriusXM tried to pull some bullshit, and they owed me a lot of money. I think I'm allowed to talk about it like this because we came to an agreement. So I got to be very, very careful how I talk. But I want to tell the people out there how good of a man Super Agent Bob Eatman was. He knew I got screwed over by SiriusXM. He was fighting for me, my gig, which I'm like, don't worry about the gig. It's time to leave that place. And he was also fighting for my money right up until the day he died. And at one point, he called me, and he was almost unrecognizable, his voice. And I go, God, Bob, just take care of yourself and your family. Don't worry about me. Whatever happens, I'll be all right. But he thought it wasn't fair what SiriusXM did to me after all those years of making money for the company. And Friday morning, he was on the phone with SiriusXM. This is a couple years ago, obviously. And he left us that weekend, fighting for me right up until his last breath. Left behind a beautiful wife and 3 beautiful sons. Vincent Scaramuzzo, Sharon Osbourne doesn't have a chance. She's fighting back now, but too late. Apology already sealed the fate. I agree with you. It's just so stupid. I mean, she's on a show called The Talk, and then they have a pretty heavy talk. And that's not okay. And that triggers people that work on a show called The Talk. And it triggers some of the hosts on a show called The Talk. And now she's going to be absolutely railroaded. They might as well shut down the entire show then. You know, they picked the name The Talk. I would assume if I'm tuning into something called The Talk, that means I'm going to hear some pretty controversial stuff. But you could be on a show called The Talk, but don't talk too much. Be careful about what you talk about. Let's be careful now. Our whole society is losing its mind, and it's not even the majority. That's what's really scary. We are a bunch of wimps. I'm talking about the majority in this country. We're a bunch of wimps. We're just allowing cancel culture to just destroy everything we know and love. Everything. Now they're going after the skunk, Pepe Le Pew. No one has thought of Pepe Le Pew in years. No one has thought of Pepe Le Pew. That was never an issue when I was growing up. I didn't watch that cartoon and then want to harass a woman. Because most free-thinking people understand the difference between a cartoon and something that's called real life. Where would you go? Top 3 cities. Gerardo, that's a really good question. I would move back to Boston in a second. I loved living up there. And now I'm married with 2 kids. I would really enjoy Boston. I was up there with someone I didn't even like, and I loved it that much. The other one, until recently, but I think I got to knock it out of the top 3. Every time I went to San Francisco, I loved the hell out of that place. But it's incredibly, it's a bit liberal. And the last time I was there, I was pretty amazed by how many people were just living wherever the hell they wanted. The city's so liberal. People were like, well, I'm going to live here now. And no one said you can't do that. Everybody in charge, they're just like, okay, then I guess this is where you live now. I mean, you can't even drive on a highway in the San Francisco area. Every exit ramp, people were living at. So I'm not sure if I would still want to live in San Francisco. But as far as the culture and stuff goes, and the food, and then going over the Golden Gate Bridge, and then you're in a whole nother world so quickly, I really, really liked visiting San Francisco. There was a lot to do and see there. But I don't know. With the policy where you could just live wherever you want, it makes it tough. Hi, Dawgie. I'm doing my top 3 cities I'd like to live in. Where would you like to live? Austin would probably be on that short list. And sometimes I think, some of the areas down there in Philly. Saratoga Springs, Andy Vollen. I went up to Saratoga Springs once to visit a gal. I was on a bus all day long to visit a gal. The kid was, how old was I? 19 years old, I think. Got on one of those Greyhounds, and I'm like, oh, Saratoga from Long Island. That's like a 4-hour ride. Well, it took 12 hours, maybe longer, because they stop in every single town. I remember seeing like a highway sign, like Saratoga Springs, 20 miles away. And that 20 miles took like 2 hours. I'm like, it's only 20 miles away. At one point, I was just going to get off the bus and just start walking because I think it would have been faster at that point. South Jersey. I should live in South Jersey. Nashville. You'd go up on Cripple Creek, Stephen C. God, that sounds like it could be a cool song. I'd go up on Cripple Creek where the catfish swim around. I'm going to work on that song too. Where's Clubsoda Kenny? I haven't talked to Kenny in a bit. I don't make money anymore, so a lot of the people aren't around anymore. Do you get it? Jesus. Hey, guys, where you all going? I'm still the same guy. I just don't have money anymore. Hey, guys, where you going? No, I'm just busting Kenny's balls. Kenny did right by me. Yeah, you find out that life is very, very different when you don't make the money anymore. Hey, I thought we were actually friends, guys. Where you going? Oh, you're so right, Brandy Torres. You aren't wasting your car horn beeps now that you don't have Kenny to monitor your beep usage, are you? Brandy. Yeah, Kenny really did not like using his beeps when we drove. I remember many times, like Jimmy would be in the back seat, and he would lean all the way into the front seat to beep the horn because Kenny refused to beep the horn. There would just be some insane thing happening in front of us that definitely needed a beep, and Kenny would not do the beep. It had something to do with his OCD, I think. I don't know. But he refused to do the beep, and it would drive Jimmy nuts, and Jimmy would reach all the way from the back seat and just honk Kenny's horn. One of the craziest days driving with Kenny, and it's the road right below this video. It's a little side street to get to my building. And we're tooling down the street coming home from Sirius XM after another amazing radio show. And there's a lot of pigeons that fly in between these buildings. And it's almost impossible to hit a bird, if you ever noticed. They're not going to hit your windshield for the most part. And we're going about 30 miles an hour down this side road. And all of a sudden, a pigeon appears out of nowhere, hits the fucking windshield, and explodes. I mean, explodes. Feathers falling down from the sky. It felt like for a minute straight. And I was horrified by what happened. And Kenny seemed to enjoy it. I'm like, holy shit. It was fucked up. And it didn't bother him in the least. But then I got to remember, he was like, he was a cop in like the 70s and 80s when shit was really crazy. Jimbo, I always said this already. You like the Doors, right? Jimbo Morrison's back. I remember you telling Florentine you liked Peace Frog. Yeah. We were talking about my favorite Doors song the other day. And I was leaning toward like either some of the down and dirty blues stuff or the Peace Frog. Sometimes I've said, the Peace Frog. Although I love that little short poem that Jim Morrison did about bird of prey or birds of prey. Birds of prey. Birds of prey. Flying high in the summer sky. I like that. I like Texas Radio on the Big Beat. I like that. Wherever you are on the YouTube, I like that one. Crystal Ship, I like. It's okay. LA Woman's a great album. Oh, yeah. On my hunt list for an original vinyl pressing, Jeffrey Geis. I forgot about this. I had a fan in LA, speaking of LA. It was always cool when we traveled as a radio show because we were a massive show for the New York area. New York, Long Island, Jersey. You throw in some of that Philly action and you throw in some of that Boston action. So pretty much from Boston to Philly, we were massive. And we were syndicated. And I remember we'd go out to LA and whatever gig we had, fans would be waiting for us. I'm like, this is so fucked up that we're in LA and people know who the fuck we are. I always found that weird because we never had a true station in LA that picked up the Opie and Anthony show, which I always found weird. But they were listening through the internet and other ways and whatever. And this guy, really cool guy, I believe he was some form of a paparazzi guy. He knew I was a Doors fan, and he gave me, I forgot what album, but he gave me a Doors album that was signed. Yes, signed, but relax. It was signed by, I forgot all the players now. Oh, my, Robbie Krieger, right? Robbie Krieger, John Densmore, and Ray. He hands me this Doors album that was signed by 3 out of the 4 guys. That's the way to say this, actually. 3 out of the 4 guys. Jim Morrison's signature was missing. So I was very grateful. I said, thank you very much for the album. I really, really appreciate it. And then he walked off. And then I walked the other way. And I proceeded to put the album where it belonged. I'm like, this is useless without a Jim Morrison autograph. Oh, I cracked myself up. I should have had Val Kilmer sign it. That would have almost been good, right? Oh, wow. Brady Torres, Opie, you all hit a pigeon with Kenny, LOL. I had that happen, but it was an owl. And it was 1 a.m. and I saw its giant owl eyes before my car hit him going 55 miles an hour. Then it exploded like the pigeon Kenny hit. Yeah, man, when you hit a bird, it looks like they just explode. You know that Prince was a good basketball player? Did anyone else see that clip online? Like just in the middle of one of his shows, they bring out a basketball and a hoop. Look it up for yourself. And he had total skills. He's spinning the basketball on his finger like it was nothing. And then he made a shot. And then he went back into his song. I thought that was extremely weird. Oh, you want to know something else that blew my mind? And you might want to put earmuffs on because I'm going to mention Rachel Maddow from MSNBC. And I know that'll trigger people to start typing really hard on their keyboard, libtard, damn, and snowflake. I was, I don't know what it was. Somehow something popped up about women that are tall. Turns out, it blew my mind. Rachel Maddow is almost 6 foot tall. Look it up. She's a giant. Oh my God, Gino Montez, you had to do it. You had to do it. She comes up with the Who, rain or me, rain or. That drove me nuts when I used to have to play fucking music on the radio. The Who singing rain or me, and that's, I think, O''ER, right, Billy? I think rain or me, and then it turns out I'm thinking it's a rain song, but it's a REIGN song. It's not even rain as we know rain. And then the stupid Who with their proper English, I guess, rain or me, fucking ruined the song for me. How's the doggy doing in Manhattan? The doggy's loving life, loving the dog park where he could just sniff butts and lick whatever the hell he wants with no Me Too movement in sight, which is pretty insane. I'm like, you look at the dog owner like, are you cool with our dogs just molesting each other? Because this is really weird. Can we at least acknowledge this is really, really fucking weird, please? This is weird, right? Like they're pretty much 69ing. They just met, and now they're just licking each other's balls. That's cool with you? All right. Then I guess we'll just let them continue doing that. Boo, 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 boo. Opie Radio. Boo, 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 boo. Boom, 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 boom. Boo, 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 boo. Boo, 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 boo.